So if you know, I know y'all doing whatever y'all doing, but if we can't really sit here and have a good time,
when she say
make it fun,
like
make it fun, then we can't film because I ain't come here for that. I don't know what the motive is to have me here. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about what we talking about. But listen,
because you ain't listening to me. I'm the only.
Right. I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to talk.
Keep running
Don't piss Niece off.
I'm trying to like, come on. It's like, what we doing?
Listen, you always.
What I do?
Nobody don't like you.
Right.
What I do?
Why did
Nobody
you
don't like you.
When she get her ready, when y'all get her ready, I'm gonna come back.
Nah,
she's bad energy, and she's all in my ear with that nasty breath.
That's all.
So, Jean Hernandez pulled up on Karlissa and it was a whole mess. Imagine calling someone funky and then getting dragged for it. But did Karlissa mess with the wrong one this time? Let me tell you, when it comes to Joseline, she does not play about her name and she definitely doesn't play about her reputation, especially when it comes to something as personal as hygiene. Joseline is not one to take any disrespect lightly, and Karlissa learned that the hard way. This whole drama kicked off after Karlissa made some not-so-nice comments about Joseline's smell, calling her funky in front of everyone.
And y'all gonna leave her stay right here in my face?
Y'all always losing me.
You got me kicked off.
In my face, you right here.
I'm kicked off my own show.
In my face.
Matthew.
I'm kicked off my
Come on,
own
Puerto
show.
Rican princess. You got the couch to yourself, baby. Come on, Joseline.
I'm not good.
I'm not going downstairs. I am not on punishment. She could go for that.
No, she can't.
Okay,
No,
then
she
let her
can't.
go on. I'm still
No, why
here.
don't you just go downstairs?
I'm not going downstairs.
We have a fun show.
Not gonna happen. Not
Baby,
gonna happen.
We have a fun
if I
show.
go downstairs, I'm going home.
Bye.
I'm not going downstairs.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my God.
Come on, let
Sit
her.
over here.
Who you
y'all,
messing
do your
tonight?
thing.
God damn, what's up with y'all?
I'm not gonna
This
bother
shit
you
getting
guys. Finish the
kindergartenish,
show.
man.
Go
Can we
ahead.
get this
I-
dude
Yes,
done
that's
and
I
get
don't
a
want bad energy there. She's gonna send out bad waves to us.
like God?
Bad ways.
We too grown for this.
Bad ways. Right, that's why.
Respect people's boundaries.
You would think that after all the stories we've heard about Joseline's wild confrontations, people would think twice before saying anything about her. But nope. Karlissa came for Joseline and Joseline was ready to handle business. She went all the way in, throwing shade about how much more successful she is compared to Karlissa, bragging about making millions with Zeus Network and helping young girls in the industry. And she didn't stop there. She even brought up Karissa's personal life, like her son's legal troubles, just to twist the knife a little deeper. It was wild. Karlissa tried to keep her composure during the show, but Joseline was on a mission to embarrass her, throwing out every insult she could think of. Now let's be real. Joseline Hernandez is a woman who's never afraid to throw hands, whether it's on TV or in real life. Remember when she literally fought with the cops and somehow managed to walk away from it? That's just who Joseline is. She doesn't back down no matter who's standing in front of her. Joseline has never been one to let anyone talk down to her, and she will always defend herself in the most aggressive way possible. She has built a whole persona around being the baddest, and she's never going to let anyone get away with talking reckless. That's why this whole situation escalated so quickly. Joseline is not here to play and Karlissa should have known better. Now let's get into the drama that went down during the Auntie podcast. The moment Joseline walked into that room, you could feel the tension. She came in with an attitude and it was clear as day that she wasn't feeling Karlissa at all. The vibe was off from the start and things only got worse as the show went on. Joseline didn't hold back, she went straight for Karissa's throat, calling her a jealous, crusty old woman who's bitter about Joseline's success. Joseline wasn't just throwing shade, she was dragging Karlissa through the mud on live air, reminding everyone how much more she's accomplished. She said stuff like, "I'm 20 years younger and have achieved way more than you ever could." She even brought up how Karissa's son is in jail just to rub it in that she's out here making millions and helping young girls get their big break, while Karlissa is struggling. Joseline threw insults left and right, from talking about Karissa's fashion sense to saying she's just mad because she's old and washed up. And while Karlissa tried to keep her composure, Joseline wasn't letting up at all. She was on a mission to humiliate her, and the whole thing was just hard to watch. Karlissa was trying to stay cool, but Joseline was relentless, talking about how Karlissa doesn't even belong on the show and how she's nothing compared to her. Joseline didn't hold back on the insults, saying, "Karlissa, you're jealous of me because I'm younger, hotter, and more successful. You're sitting up here acting all high and mighty, but you're just a crusty old lady who's mad at a queen." The whole time, Karlissa was just sitting there trying to stay calm, but it was clear that Joseline's words were getting to her. Joseline was all about showing off her success and putting Karlissa down at every chance she got. It was a straight-up roast and Joseline didn't care who was watching. After all this drama on the podcast, Karlissa wasn't about to stay quiet for long. A few days later, she took to Instagram Live to clap back and set the record straight. Karlissa claimed that Joseline had the podcast edited to make her look bad and that what viewers saw wasn't the full story.
Joseline take you out like that. So she didn't take me out, y'all. I volunteered because she was to leave if I was there. And I took one for the team, obviously, because if I would have stayed, she wasn't gonna finish the interview, which means we wasn't gonna get paid. And you know how I'm about my money. Soon as she started, I leave the set, I was like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. I'll sit over here. So that the ladies could still get their interview and we could still get our full check.
According to Karlissa, the real drama started way before Joseline even walked on set, and it wasn't as one-sided as it looked. Karlissa went on to say that she felt like she was being set up and that Joseline was trying to make herself look better. Karlissa then brought up Joseline's alleged hygiene issues, saying that when Joseline walked into the room, there was a nasty smell that everyone noticed. She didn't hold back, hinting that the bad scent was coming from Joseline herself and not the crew, which made things even more awkward. Karlissa even said, "We thought it was one of the cameramen who didn't take a bath, but nope, it was coming from her." She went on to accuse Joseline of acting all high and mighty just because she has money and has had some surgeries done. But she added that Joseline needs to address her hygiene before trying to put others down. Karlissa also explained that she didn't speak up during the show because she was trying to protect her paycheck. She didn't want to cause a scene on set because she knows how quickly things can go left, and she wasn't about to risk her money over Joseline's antics. "I know how to keep quiet when my money's on the line," she said, adding that Joseline's little outbursts were just another way for her to get attention. However, she wasn't about to let Joseline keep running her mouth without clapping back. She was done being quiet and made sure to air out everything she had on Joseline, from the alleged funky smell to how she's been moving funny ever since she got a little fame. But here's the thing. This isn't the first time Joseline has been dragged into some messy rumors about her hygiene. Joseline has been in the spotlight for a while, and over the years, quite a few people have hinted that she might have some hygiene issues. Take Michelle, for example. These two have had their share of beef, and Michelle wasn't shy about throwing shade when it came to Joseline's hygiene. She has thrown comments hinting that maybe Joseline's not as fresh as she likes to present herself. Then there's Amber Ollie, who didn't hold back one bit. She flat out said that Joseline smelled like mop water.
Don't smell good enough.
It don't smell?
She smells like mop water, bro. Like Joseline stinks. She smells like mop water. And somebody needs to tell her. Hernandez smelling like water. Clean you're rich. You're rich. It's fit.
Amber went on a whole rant about how being in the same space as Joseline was an experience she wouldn't forget. Amber even joked that Joseline needed to up her hygiene game because it was becoming a hot topic all over the industry. And these aren't just random people. These are folks who've been around her, worked with her, and noticed something they couldn't ignore. It's wild how these rumors just keep popping up, and no matter how much Joseline tries to brush it off, it's like the rush follows her everywhere. Fans, of course, have been eating this up and weighing in with their own takes on the whole situation. One person commented, "Go to the gynecologist, Joseline. They make pills for that." Another wrote, "How many women are going to say the same thing about Joseline's hygiene though? That's crazy." Don't think this feud is over, because word on the street is that Joseline isn't done, and she's planning to confront Karlissa in person. Knowing Joseline, you already know this is going to be bad. If they cross paths again, Joseline's never been the type to just let something go. She always has to have the last word. Or, in her case, the last punch. She's definitely not the kind to let Karissa's IG rant slide without firing back somehow. And it looks like things are only going to get messier from here. So what's next? Well, you can bet that Joseline's plotting her next move, and Karlissa better be ready. This is a woman who lives for drama. And if Karlissa thought she could say her piece and keep it pushing, she's got another thing coming. But what do you guys think? Was Karlissa out of line for speaking her mind about Joseline? Or was she just standing up for herself after Joseline's wild behavior? And what about Joseline? Did she take things too far, or is this just Joseline being Joseline? I want to hear your thoughts on this one, so drop them in the comments. And if you love the tea we spilled today, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Joseline Hernandez's shocking confession. Talk about the devil. Joseline Hernandez has returned to the spotlight, and you won't believe what she has been hiding for so long. She's the drama queen of love and hip-hop, known for her bold and self-assured nature. But it turns out that Joseline's picture-perfect existence wasn't as wonderful as it seemed. Who would have guessed there was such a sinister secret lurking beneath all that glitz and glamour? She was hesitant to voice her opinions, but now the truth might finally come to light. In a shocking interview, Joseline finally talked about the nightmare she's been going through. Abuse at the hands of her fiancé, music producer Ballistic Beats. Crazy, right? They were supposed to be the ideal couple. Always showing up to events hand in hand, smiling for cameras and creating a beautiful picture on social media. However, behind closed doors, their relationship turned into a toxic horror show full of physical and emotional torment. Joseline simply couldn't keep it hidden any longer. Newsflash: things aren't always what they seem on Instagram, people. She's bold and fearless, always putting herself out there, but this was something completely different. Joseline's fans believed she was living in bliss when in fact she was trapped in a relationship that was anything but loving. Her story is enough to make anyone stop and think. For years, she and Ballistic painted a picture of a loving couple, attending events and starring in reality TV together. But behind those smiles was a completely different story, a nightmare no one saw coming. When she described all the control, abuse and facade she had to maintain, Joseline was honest about every terrifying detail. She finally revealed the pain she was going through. Everyone assumed they were the real deal, but the fairy tale had fallen apart. Joseline's interview shocked everyone by exposing the truth about her once-envied relationship. She called out the ugly reality, revealing that Ballistic's abuse included emotional torture as well as physical harm. Behind every glamorous photo shoot and public appearance, Joseline was hiding scars, both physical and emotional. She explained how it all began as a dreamy fairy tale romance but quickly took a sinister turn, turning her life upside down. Fans saw the facade, an edited version of a love story, but the real story was something out of a nightmare. The world watched as she finally broke her silence and confronted the issue head-on, painting pictures with her words, unfiltered and raw. One can only imagine the courage it took to do that. Joseline is revealing the gritty reality behind their so-called fairy tale. That's Joseline for you, fierce and unquestionably brave, turning her darkest days into a story of strength. What really happened? So what's going on, you ask? Well, let's dive right in. Joseline described how it all began innocently with minor arguments. But whenever Ballistic's temper got the better of him, even over the smallest things quickly escalated. At first, she chalked it up to stress or miscommunication. But over time she realized it wasn't just a bad day. This was a pattern. Joseline tried to ignore the warning signs, thinking it would go away. She believed they could overcome it together, especially with all the drama and scandal she had already endured on reality TV. But she was wrong. But she was mistaken. The emotional abuse became a constant in her life, and the situation took a much darker turn. Ballistic would belittle her with harsh words, insults and constant criticism. His temper would flare up over trivial matters, and Joseline became the target of his verbal attacks. These left her feeling worthless and insecure. She started to doubt herself, questioning her worth and blaming herself for their arguments. Ultimately, the abuse escalated to physical violence. While Joseline didn't go into graphic details, it's clear that this was the last straw. The man she loved and trusted had become a stranger, capable of harming her. She was terrified not only because of the violence but also because she feared how people would react if they learned the truth. Joseline described the immense pressure of maintaining a public persona while dealing with her personal crisis. She was living a double life, torn between keeping up appearances and confronting the harsh reality of her situation. The toll on her mental health was immense, and she felt trapped, ashamed, and isolated. Despite the fear of judgment, rejection, and losing everything she had worked for, Joseline made the brave decision to speak out. Her story has sparked important conversations about recognizing abuse and breaking free from toxic relationships. She emphasized the importance of recognizing warning signs and seeking help, telling others that they deserve love and respect. Joseline's courage is inspiring. By sharing her story, she's not only taken a step toward healing but also given hope to others who are suffering in silence. She has become a beacon of strength for those who feel alone and helpless, showing them that there is a way out and a way to reclaim their lives. Her story is a powerful reminder that domestic violence doesn't discriminate. It can happen to anyone no matter their status or fame. Joseline's decision to speak out has created a ripple effect, encouraging others to tell their stories and seek the help they need. Through her bravery, Joseline is helping to dismantle the stigma surrounding domestic violence, making it easier for victims to find their voice and their strength. Her willingness to share her intensely personal experiences is helping to dispel misconceptions and encourage greater transparency on such delicate topics. With every person she reaches, regardless of their social standing, wealth, or notoriety, she reminds us that anyone can suffer from the devastating effects of abuse. The emotional and psychological scars it leaves behind can be severe and long-lasting. Despite what some may think, Joseline is taking her healing journey seriously. She is working hard to rebuild her life and rediscover who she truly is. As she moves forward in her recovery, she knows that by sharing her story she empowers others, giving them the courage to leave their own abusive situations and seek the support they deserve. Her message is unwavering. No one should have to endure in silence. Her life is proof that even in the darkest moments, one can find the courage to speak up, heal, and begin anew. Her story isn't just about pain. It's a celebration of the human spirit's incredible resilience and the power to reclaim one's life. Through her openness, Joseline Hernandez, known for her confidence and boldness on Love and Hip Hop, has shared a deeply personal story that shocked many. Her bravery revealed a new side to the vibrant personality fans thought they knew. No one is immune to the destructive effects of abuse, not even someone as fierce as Joseline. She has been using her inner strength to heal and find herself again. Step by step, she is making progress, demonstrating that it is possible to rebuild one's life after surviving abuse. By sharing her personal story, Joseline brings attention to the seriousness of domestic violence and offers hope to those who feel trapped. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that anyone can find the strength to leave an abusive relationship and get the help they need. Joseline steadfastly believes that no one should have to endure abuse. It is never acceptable no matter who you are. Her story demonstrates that recovery is always possible and that survivors can emerge stronger and more empowered. By being transparent about her experiences, Joseline has become a vital voice among survivors, showing us that abuse is something we must never tolerate and that everyone deserves to live free of pain and fear. For years, Joseline was one of the most courageous and outspoken personalities on reality TV. However, beneath the glamorous photos and public appearances, she was living through a nightmare she kept hidden. In a heartbreaking interview, Joseline opened up about the abuse she endured at the hands of her fiancé, music producer Ballistic Beats. What began as a seemingly perfect relationship quickly turned toxic as the abuse escalated from emotional manipulation to physical violence. Despite their outwardly picture-perfect image, with shared photos and declarations of love, the reality was much darker. Like many abusive relationships, it began with small arguments that escalated. Ballistic's temper flared over minor issues. At first, Joseline blamed these outbursts on stress or outside pressures. However, the incidents grew in frequency and intensity. A clumsy remark, a glance, or even the wrong mood could provoke him. Behind closed doors, Joseline endured fear, confusion, and disbelief as her life unraveled. Ballistic's apologies, gifts, and promises of change gave her fleeting hope, but the cycle of abuse continued. She felt trapped under the pressure to maintain the facade of their relationship, especially with the public constantly watching. Now, Joseline has bravely pulled back the curtain, sharing her ordeal to show that even those who seem to have it all can be hiding deep struggles. Her story is a call for awareness, support, and change. Joseline described how Ballistic would belittle her with harsh words and how his temper made her feel insecure and worthless. These toxic behaviors isolated her from her friends and family. She began doubting her own worth and blaming herself for his outbursts, a hallmark of emotional abuse. The situation escalated into physical violence, which left Joseline struggling to piece herself back together. She confessed, "I didn't know who I was anymore." The vibrant spirit she once possessed dimmed under ballistics' control.